Hello, this is 1 Week Rental covering Drop Dead Fred, and in this video we are doing the history of Drop Dead Fred, the history of its production, and career overview of its two stars, Rik Mayall and Phoebe Cates. This movie has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes.
What?
But is it really that bad? We shall discuss.
It's a masterpiece.
All of that's coming up on 1 Week Rental. Oh, yes. Hello, snot lickers and boot sniffers everywhere.
Whoa, crotch lookers and booger pickers.
Snot face. That's what
Snot-face.
That's what you are, is a snot face.
Yucky, smelly dog poo.
We're going to be talking about a lot of poo in this movie.
That's limited amount of poo. Mud pie as well.
Drop Dead Fred is the name of the movie that we have spent the past week with. We're going to tell you all about it on our podcast, 1 Week Rental, where we spend the week with a movie and then we tell you all about it. My name is Matt Stokes.
And I am Laci Roth, and I am wearing green because I am pro Fred.
If this is your first time with us, we'll give you a little backstory, take you into our world. Laci and I are happily married for a long time.
Longer than I care to say.
So long that we were already years into our marriage when we started a podcast. We used to be called Load Bearing Beams, and episode 10 of that podcast was about this movie, Drop Dead Fred. And now it's 9 years later.
We strictly picked movies that were essential and core to our personalities at the time.
Yes.
We have strayed much.
We've strayed far from there, but we are going back to a classic load-bearing beam of Laci's.
What would you say this? Like it's a remastered. Like what are we trying to do? It's like now that we kind of know what we're doing, or we definitely know what we're doing more than we did then. What would George Lucas?
The special edition. This is special edition. Okay, yes, we're going to replace.
He's making it better.
Going to replace everything with CGI Jabbas. And I had never heard of the movie before I saw it for that episode. Up until then, Laci had been like showing me all these movies from her childhood. And then she's like, "You like it, right?" And I'm like, "No, it's stupid."
I had a lot of misses.
But Drop Dead Fred, with its very poor critical appraisal, I watched and I was like, "Laci, this movie's really good and really funny."
Yes, it's really funny.
And guess what, everybody? It's almost 10 years later, and I feel the same. If not, I think it's even better than I thought it was.
Yes, but
back then.
Because he puts his whole pussy into this. I mean, like they picked the right person. He does everything at 100%, even the sweet stuff, and it all works. And it's perfect because Phoebe Cates is so calm and mousy, I guess.
She's very good. And
she's great.
Knowing what I knew about her going in, I'm bringing all of, my knowledge of knowing her from Gremlins and Fast Times and everything. But what I'm very glad I did is start doing some research on her before rewatching the movie. Mm-hmm. And it kind of brought a new dimension to this character. And we'll get to that in the history segment. So what we do on this show is we watch the movie twice. We research it. We review it, discuss it with each other, come up with little fan theories because we're fans, more than anything. And do some irresponsible psychoanalysis, including what we're going to do here, especially when we talk about Phoebe Cates vis-a-vis the character Lizzie. And that's the history segment, going through the history of the movie. And then we have a lengthy discussion of the movie itself. You can only get that if you're listening to us on the audio podcast. So if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and look at the link in the description and subscribe to us on our podcast. And leave us a review, and follow us on the social medias. Do all of that stuff that I always forget to tell you to do. Go ahead and hit that like, everybody.
Smash it, subscribe it.
Do you remember where you came across this movie? Like how would you have heard about it?
It always was. I mean, me and Jamie just always watch this movie. And
Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yeah, me and Jamie Lee. Sorry. My cousin Jamie. Particularly Jamie. I watched it with all of my cousins, but this is one where she had the VHS. I'm almost positive. And it was just a constant in our lives. We love to quote it and act it out, put our heads in the refrigerator, slide on our backs and look at cobwebs.
Yeah, and I listened to the old episode, and Laci talked about having not seen it in 20 years, assumed it was terrible, but was laughing her ass off during the whole movie. And even in the podcast, she's like, "I'm laughing just talking about him, just thinking about Fred." We watched the movie separately yesterday in separate rooms, and when I didn't hear laughter coming from the other room, I thought, "Oh no, does Laci not like this anymore?"
Not a chance.
Nope, she started laughing her ass off again.
Because there was a lot of it's got a lot of heart. So there's a lot of parts where you're not meant to laugh, man.
And a lot of brain.
And goddamn, is Carrie Fisher good in this movie? I mixed her role in this movie and in When Harry Met Sally. I smushed them together because she's dating a married man in both.
That's just her. Yeah, she can't not do it. Yes.
I love her as a sassy businesswoman who's clearly an attorney.
The only thing I don't like her about this in this movie is Carrie Fisher is well known for rewriting her own lines.
She rewrote all of them.
And they stand out from the rest of the movie.
But you would have to have, it makes sense for someone like Lizzie to have a best friend who's kind of a bitchy alpha woman. It makes sense why she would be drawn to her.
But having like these Woody Allen lines in this movie does kind of take you out of it every time she says one of them.
Okay.
What is with your hair? Is this a Marilyn Quayle lookalike contest? Janie.
When we were more focused on movies that we were personally attached to, we started noticing a theme with all of Laci's movies. And this might be the text. And Laci, if you don't know her, I mean, to know her is to love her, but to know her is to also know there's a ferocious feral animal inside of her that is just waiting to just
let me jump on you.
Yeah, and just like slap you and just pull everything out of the refrigerator and just throw it.
No.
And so sometimes she makes it easy. And we'll talk about that in the movie discussion. Let's talk about Drop Dead Fred, the history of Drop Dead Fred. This movie has an 11% on Rotten Tomatoes. Now, you might think that's really low, but I got to tell you, 9 years ago when we covered this movie for the first time, it was 9%.
Hell yeah, rising in the ranks. That's us. That is our impact.
I think it might be. Let's take a look at what Gene Siskel had to say about the movie.
Where's Ebert?
He's on the
Okay, this was tough. Finding a film worse than Dice Rules. But I think I have one. My choice of the very worst film of 1991 is, according to me, Drop Dead Fred.
Wrong.
Sort of a pseudo-psychological bad Beetlejuice imitation. They really wanted to imitate that picture this year. The Fred character being, the Drop Dead Fred character, that is, being the imaginary childhood pal of a put-upon young woman played by Phoebe Cates, whose mother is overbearing and whose husband cheats on her. Eventually, she goes to a shrink to talk about her pestering childhood friend. Get ready for one of the most obnoxious characters in movie history, as Fred is joined by some of his colleagues in crime. That's Rik Mayall as Fred. He's a British actor on an MTV show. That's another reason not to watch MTV. Supposedly, he's her excuse to act out her anger. He can do the things that she'd like to do. But in the movie, he's just annoying to us because he's as real as anything in the movie. Too real. I had to sit through 98 minutes of his screaming act, 98 minutes stolen from my life. And it really, I felt it was real aggravating.
You know, when
He
Drop
is
Dead
like, what
Fred
if a man
opened,
were
I
a
was
spoon?
on vacation. I was out of the country. When I came back, you had already seen it, and I asked you if I should see it, and you said it would be on your list of the worst movies of the year, although I didn't realize it was going to rank so high as number one, but I'm glad I didn't see it.
Oh, my God.
Now that I
Educate
see
your
how high it was
fucking
on your
self.
list.
Consider it my holiday gift.
Thank you very much. I have a few.
Every review at the time mentioned Beetlejuice.
It's just because of the
And
house at the end.
That's not the only reason why.
I mean, I guess if the two are next to each other, he's got fun. His outfits are amazing. And Beetlejuice never changes his clothes. Fred is not dead.
Beetlejuice does change his clothes, but yes, this is a manic comedian sort of being a plaything for a sort of waifish, shy girl. I mean, maybe Lydia isn't shy, but it's a natural comparison. And this does seem like a Tim Burton, maybe wants his stripy paws on it.
Yes, well, and I guess I could see Debbie Reynolds with the red hair and stuff and being a crotchety fancy bitch. I could see her seeming like the mom, Catherine
Debbie
O'Hara.
Reynolds.
You said it. Her name is Debbie Reynolds. The mom.
No, I said Carrie Fisher's mother is Debbie Reynolds.
That's crazy.
The mother in this movie is Marsha Mason.
Her.
Okay.
She could be a Kmart Catherine O'Hara.
Yes, she could.
She's got quite a presence, and she is very good in this role, but nothing is Catherine O'Hara.
Well, I mean, Marsha Mason was a great dramatic actress. Catherine O'Hara is like one of the great comedy actresses.
Right, but if you're putting both in your head at once, I get where you're going with that.
So every single review from the time is like, they're just going for Beetlejuice. What's interesting is I've read a bunch of like retrospective reviews about like Drop Dead Fred, a cult classic now. And they point out that like this movie probably just arrived 2 years too early because in a few years, Jim Carrey would do all of this stuff and it was all anybody wanted. You even see in that clip we just saw when his eyes pop out that he's just doing the mask. In every way, he's doing the mask.
It's just a cartoon.
You're watching
trope.
a live action cartoon. which is what The Mask is. And it is interesting how these things work, that everything sort of about Rik Mayall's performance, Hollywood rejected, but was totally ready for it a few years.
Also, I feel like there was definitely a period of time where Americans thumbed their nose at British comedy. Like it still is. It's advanced, right? So this is 2 years ahead of its time. And British comedy, I find, we're always following it, remaking what they make, but making like a lighter version or a less harsh version. So, he comes off harsh and crass, and he's only got a few moments where he's super lovable, but that's what makes those moments so special, is because he says exactly what he's thinking. So if he says, snot face, you look great, then you know you look great, snot face.
Trying to research the British comedy world he came from. I'm just reading all these names. Like,
MTV.
I don't know any of this. I don't know that. I don't know that. I don't know that. One of those retrospectives, Den of Geek in 2017, quote, if you're of a certain age and, much like Phoebe Cates' protagonist Elizabeth at the beginning of the movie, you haven't seen Fred since you were a child. You may remember it as a childhood staple that you were probably a bit young to be watching. For many, it might have been your introduction to Mayall's comic stylings. However, also like Lizzie, Fred's anarchic behavior has different implications when you meet him again in adulthood. Some viewers now go by the reading that the film has more of Fight Club than Beetlejuice. And Fred is well and truly in her head, discounting the fantasy part. This would make it a much darker film than was clearly intended, especially in the haircutting incident, which is already weird enough in the way that it's presented without tipping the film into the realm of psychological horror.
Wait a fucking second. Am I the only one that just accepts that he's not real? This is her doing all of this?
Yeah, that's always been my reading. But the movie, it does play it like you're not going to get a definitive answer on that.
because of the last scene where he is talking to Mickey's daughter, and they're doing, she is talking about Drop Dead Fred or whatever, and he's moved on. Like, that's evidence that he's real. But no, that's a child going through divorce who's also having a really hard time. She's the exact kind of person who might pick up a little something from their super obsessed father, who's always talking about this Lizzie girl and her Drop Dead Fred. I mean, what are they?
Well, that's evidence that Fred is a magical divorce fairy who goes to visit little kids who need a little, like Divorce Dog from the 80s. You remember Divorce Dog?
Okay, but no. Is that a dog that comes to see you if you get a divorce? Okay.
You got it.
All right, well, he never showed up in my house, but our apartment didn't allow pets. Pointedly, Lizzie did not start seeing Drop Dead Fred. I'm sorry. Only saw him while her parents were still together.
Yeah. Which is a very smart choice the movie makes.
I love that the dad doesn't come back again. I love that he's only mentioned a couple times and it's never by Lizzie, except for to talk about how she wished that her dad would have thrown her mom. She's expressing exactly what a lot of people with abusive mothers express, which is, I did not have a dad as a buffer. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had an abusive mom. You can't have both. If you have a strong father who is kind, you don't have an abusive mother. So those of us with that, I'm not saying me, had an abusive mother, also feel abandoned by their dad, even if he's there.
Her real dad, when we see him, is British, like Fred. So Fred is a manifestation of who she wishes her dad would be.
Yeah.
An assertive, fun figure of chaos.
Because he's interested in what he asks her follow-up questions. He loves her precociousness. Like, he finds her entertaining. He understands what it is to be a child. The mom is so cruel for designing this beautiful palace of things you can't touch. Even as cruel as to put a flower that the girl is allergic to in a prominent spot. Like this, it's asking a smart, only child, bored child, curious child to live in a museum where she can only fuck things up. You put carpet in your dining room and you're mad at the mud on the carpet, motherfucker. It's a dining room. White carpet.
She wants to be angry.
She wants to be angry.
It's like if you're the mother of the girl from Hereditary and you're like,
stick your head out the window.
I'm supposed to not have peanut butter all over my house on all my surfaces. Are you kidding me? How am I supposed to live like that? That's not fair. I'm going to put peanut butter everywhere. Why do you have to put gladiolas everywhere? Put something else. Right. You know your daughter's allergic.
Right.
Quote, it's definitely a film about overcoming emotional abuse, but neither the film nor its subtext could ever be called subtle. The subtext is dressed in garish green and yellow, demanding that you take it at face value. While Drop Dead Fred is a figurative manifestation of Lizzie's repressed rebellious side, imaginary friends have to have some literal tangibility within the world of the film in order for it to work, end quote. I know that looking at it now, I think, one, every Pixar movie is basically a ripoff of this premise. And every sort of comedy these days that isn't very funny is all centered on childhood, repressed trauma and mental illness. So I feel like everything owes a debt to Drop Dead Fred. But maybe in 1991, people weren't just not accustomed to having every single story be about that.
I understand that it's at the root of why this movie meant so much to me. There are certainly movies where it's just fun to quote. It's just fun that his head got squashed, that we're talking about vaginas in a kid's movie. That's crazy. We're saying shit and things, and it's dressed up as a kid's movie, but like you feel like you're getting away with something when you watch it as a kid. And I knew I loved it for that, but why it stuck with me, why I would crave to watch it, is because of the journey that Liz goes on. And I didn't realize that till watching it as an adult 9 years ago, that like, I felt seen by this movie. I felt like it was okay to be a certain way. I felt like it was okay to have residual effects of being treated a certain way, all the things. So it is the heart stuff. It is the smart stuff, the emotional introspection that makes it a movie that sticks to you.
And it's like, it's clearly a movie for kids that is rated PG-13 and has tons of curse words in it. And I love it for that. It's like the movie knows it's getting away with. A PG-13 movie means that this is not for kids, but we all know this is actually for kids. Watch it, kids.
Look at his hair. Look at his outfit. Ebert wouldn't even look at it because he's like, "Oh, Siskel, you think this is the worst movie of the whole year? Plus, it looks like a kid's movie. Skip." Where if this was the worst movie the entire year, but it was dressed up for adults, how could he call himself a true critic and not watch it? He dismissed it because it looks silly.
Yeah, and the criticisms all seem to be, this is very annoying. And I'm very susceptible to annoying stuff. And I don't think he's annoying. I think he's really funny.
He adds so much energy to every scene that he's in. And he's not the kind of mischievous where you're upset with him. Like, stop. You're fucking getting her into trouble. It's like, no, you are pushing something out of her so that she's not a freaking weirdo doormat for the rest of her life, looking like a cheerleader librarian, which I didn't know you could do that.
It's the joy of his performance of Mayall and the actors he's working against, Phoebe Cates and the young version of Phoebe Cates.
Yes, they have great
who
chemistry.
are playing off of her, and man, that kid who's not a professional actor is really, really bringing it in those scenes with him.
And she's precocious and smart, and usually that can rub me the wrong way, but like, I love the way they put her. I love how excited she is. I love that this is her just like really excited about her own ideas and about what kind of shit she's going to get up to and just all the things you have to do to make yourself not lonely. I don't know. I just buy all of it. She deserves to be precocious and smart if she's also being mistreated this way, like Harry Potter.
Or it's just like kids are annoying and you're allowed to be annoying and like deal with it, mom and dad. Deal with it, mom.
I wasn't born to be an accessory to your beautiful house. Like I'm not here to like fill out that Christmas card that you want to send to everybody. I actually have thoughts, and you're probably a really smart, capable woman. He's a probably smart, capable man. Guess what you made? A smart, capable person who you are not letting be a kid.
All right, let's get into the production history of Drop Dead Fred. And this is one of those movies where there's just not that much out there, unfortunately.
Great.
Atte de Jong is the Dutch director of this movie. He directed a lot of movies in the 70s and 80s in Holland. And then like Paul Verhoeven, his countryman, he went over to Hollywood, had way less success than Verhoeven, and then returned to the Netherlands and kept working there.
You guys are uptight. Mm-hmm. Is that how he sounds?
Made 2 other movies after this. None were very successful. The producer of the movie is Paul Webster. There's a screenplay by Carlos Davis and Anthony Fingleton. And this is all based on a story by Elizabeth Livingston. And here's why I'm so frustrated. You should at least be able to see like, okay, Elizabeth Livingston writes an idea for this movie. Elizabeth is the name of the main character in the movie. Right. So who is Elizabeth Livingston? Why did she write the story? There's nothing about this person anywhere online. This is the only credit on IMDb.
Could it be a pen name? And it's really it's Steven Spielberg. He wanted to tell his childhood story.
Finally, because he never gets to talk about his childhood. Oh God, imagine the Spielberg version of this movie. How heartwarming it would be.
Well, when you told me Tim Burton, I'm like, well, that would have fucking ruined it. There's a balance this movie's doing, and maybe it's all an accident, but it's so good.
Pin in the Burton thing.
I'll pin that Burton.
The Blu-ray, luckily, the Blu-ray has a feature-length commentary from the director, and he's very likable, but it is one of those director's commentaries where he's just like, oh yeah, we had to reshoot that scene. Yeah, we filmed this in LA, actually.
I tripped over my lederhosen here.
The director's commentaries are hit and miss because you can get incredible insight, or it's just the most practical, like, oh yeah, she was a little sick that day. We had to get her in.
Right, like, guy, we're not here because we want to know about like the nuts and bolts of that day's craft. We want to give us some of it.
That has its place.
Some of it, but like, yeah, when you're butting up against a neuroatypical kind of. I'm telling you about the process here. I find it neat. So will you.
There is an interview though with Ata de Jong and the producer Paul Webster, and they sort of tell the story of how the movie came about, which is there were these screenwriters, Carlos Davis and Anthony Fingleton, who were friends with this woman, Elizabeth Livingston, and they said it was a short story, but you can find the original text of what she did on the internet, and it looks more like a movie treatment. I don't know how this ended up, getting optioned by a studio or by a production company, but it ends up getting developed, and they are brought aboard as screenwriters, and then they hook up with Paul Webster and with Ata de Jong. And what they said is,
I just feel like a money laundering scam that just happened to get fucking pushed all the way through, like almost an accident. For there to not to be like any real backup story to like, considering how Sweet Home Alabama jumping through months of hoops to get made when it's like the most obvious movie that should get made, and this one just sails through.
I don't know that it sailed through, but even if you remember, that movie also had an original screenwriter of sort of confusing, unknown provenance, and there's not that much information about him. There are just movies where it's just not all of this is very well documented.
Yeah.
And usually we're talking about, the reason I rely on oral history so much is there's enough of an audience that an outlet will commission a writer to go interview all the people. And that just hasn't been done with Drop Dead Fred. Let me do it. Let me talk to these people.
Yes. Can we talk to Phoebe Cates? She is doing great.
The thing on this movie's Wikipedia page says that this movie was offered to Tim Burton and to Robin Williams. What that is sourced to is the same Den of Geek article I was reading from earlier, but that Den of Geek thing is just an essay, and it says that the movie was offered to Tim Burton and Robin Williams, but that isn't sourced to anything. So it's unclear, where did that come from?
And so what, you could just say things in that kind of article without sourcing them?
You should source them, but it's not like this doesn't happen all of the time.
Den of Geek.
And it could very well have been movies are in development for a long time, and it's just the production company could have said, who would be great for this? Robin Williams.
Right. Just like with Showgirls, we could have had anybody. Paula Abdul, Janet Jackson. We chose Nomi Malone.
Because the story that Webster and de Jong tell is that when the script was being written, it was only with Rik Mayall in mind. And they even said Rik Mayall deserves screenwriting credit because what the producer said, he said, quote,
they did a Jim Carrey on him. Just do something.
I mean, kind of. He says that that we, meaning he and the director, we sat with Rick and Tony and Carlos reworking the script, and Rick would basically provide the comedy. He would provide the gags, and Carlos and Tony would shape it narratively, and then Ata would turn it into a film. End quote.
Yeah.
So if Robin Williams was ever intended to be cast in this role, I found no evidence for that.
You just imagine all the fucking voices he'd be doing.
Thank fucking God.
When did Aladdin come out compared to this one? 1991 is this. Is 1 year later, right? And 1 year before that, I mean, and he was in not in Elm Enchanted Forest. Is that it? No, Fern Gully. Mm-hmm. In Fern Gully the same year as Aladdin. So that's all he really had in there. I mean, if you watch his stand up too, it's all, and he's an amazing impressionist, but like, dude, there's got to be other ways. And I mean, then you look at Mrs. Doubtfire, and it's just here's another reason to have him do 20 impressions in a row, and then Birdcage too. Sally
Field recently said she's in Mrs. Doubtfire. Yeah, she said something like Pierce Brosnan had us cracking up on set because we were so exhausted from Robin Williams.
Yes.
And imagine how on that guy is.
Well, and he's always workshopping something, right? And he's so uncomfortable in his skin. And I can name 2 people that are like this, and it is exhausting because it's like, can words be said around you without you then saying those words in a fun way, or like
I noticed you said Mahatma Gandhi.
Mahatma Gandhi.
No, I didn't.
Well, because like, if I didn't think a reaction was needed, it'd be fine. But like, I can't always be on to like support that kind of.
So the movie was always intended, at least in their telling, for Rik Mayall. And again, they said he almost deserves screenwriting credit, that he just is Fred. So who is though Rik Mayall? We all want to know. Rik Mayall died at age 56 in 2014. The Guardian, in its obituary, said about him, quote, Rik Mayall, who has died suddenly aged 56, was a phenomenal and outrageous performer, a leading light of the alternative comedy circuit that emerged from the Comedy Store in the 1980s. Oh, if you don't know, The Guardian is a British newspaper. So this is writing to a British audience for whom one of the major, it was as if Bill Murray of England had died, kind of.
Is he up there with like? Does he relate at all to the like Monty Python? Because that would be a set. There's so many different like branches of very important British comedy.
I'm bad at knowing comedy, and then knowing about British comedy is its own fucking thing. But I sort of get the sense that he was the generation after Monty Python.
Right. He's the Generation X. They're the boomers. And then like Mr. Bean is somewhere in the middle of that.
I don't want to say too much because people who actually know this stuff are getting mad.
Stop getting mad at us, guys. I handled it.
And a not inconsiderable comic actor, playing in Beckett and Simon Gray on the West End stage and in Gogol at the National Theatre. Part of his success lay in the timing. His crude persona, Rick, in the breakthrough television series The Young Ones, written with Ben Elton and Lis Mayer, was a gimlet-eyed, nose-picking lunatic who nonetheless carried a terrible plausibility as a prissy, radical student of the day. Long gone were the serious political protests and scabrish intelligent reviews of the 60s student generation. Here, student life was parodied as grottic and anarchic. End quote.
So many words I don't understand.
I think it was the Gen X sort of nihilistic ethos. And again, we are two American blokes. We don't know anything about British comedy. And we'd love to meet a British friend. If you're a British person,
can we have a British friend?
Can you come be our Britain correspondent and tell us about things? Please and thank you. But he was a very important figure in the British comedy scene of the 80s and 90s. He and his comedy partner, Adrian Edmondson, started on stage together. They performed on TV in the British version of Saturday Night Live, which was called Saturday Live, as the Dangerous Brothers. Let's go ahead and watch 30 seconds of that.
Mrs. Ray Looney, we are your babysitters.
Yeah, you got a baby, we'll sit on it.
My name is Richard Babysitter, and this is Sir Adrian Babysitter.
Ha ha! Babysitters!
Is that empty?
Yes.
That's okay then.
But there must be some mistake. We booked somebody called Jennifer.
That's us, matey. We are Jennifer.
Our trading name.
Excuse me a moment.
Would you like to watch more of the Dangerous Brothers?
I would.
Okay. I mean, yeah, he's very it's very British. But yeah, he's very, very likable, and you can
We
see
are
why.
Jennifer. I mean, yeah. He is. I mean, he pulls the he's half of what, I don't know, 60% of what makes this movie great. And it's his dramatic acting that is what is always so surprising to me. The little parts, there aren't many, but because of the way that he is, they are so meaningful to me that there's something so reassuring. So if he's going to be kind to you or tell you something when he's using his serious voice, like there's just this, I can trust you thing. Like there's no question. A guy you can just trust if he uses a certain tone of voice. That is comforting as shit.
Among this big British comedy scene that had a ton of success at this time on TV, it seems like he was the one that they picked out and said he maybe could make it in Hollywood. Let's go over to Hollywood and give him a try. Drop Dead Fred was intended to be his entry into American movies, but it didn't do that well. He made one more American movie shortly after that and then went back to England.
I should have written him a letter. I would have just thought he was too famous to care about my letter, but I'd been an American who liked him in real time.
Phoebe Cates. What comes to mind, Laci, when I say Phoebe Cates?
Fast Times at Ridgemont High. I always forget that I love her in this movie, but just an adorable brunette, but a sexy person like that, a sex goddess in my head. Though she plays just as many like wholesome things too.
Well, because Fast Times, the most
bathing suit.
the most famous, thing about her career is the Fast Times thing. But then she's in Gremlins and she's playing a much more wholesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I guess until learning about her, what I think of is Gremlins and Fast Times, and then and retired from acting, and then actually seemed to stay retired.
Mm-hmm.
I only just learned she's married to Kevin Kline, has been married for almost 40 years.
That's amazing.
To Kevin Kline. Have you seen Fast Times at Ridgemont High?
Mm-hmm. It's not one of my movies because it's a movie about guys trying to have sex, and it's there's only so many of those I need to see.
Well, there are comedies from that era that you go back and watch and think well, I'm not laughing and I don't like it, but I can see what they were seeing at the time.
How I feel about horror from that time.
Mm-hmm.
It's not really mine because I didn't get to it at the right time, but I do understand why.
Yeah, or I bet if you watched Animal House, you would say it's fine. I'm not laughing.
She's always funny to me. I like Blues Brothers too.
Fast Times at Ridgemont High, I watched it for the first time ever on Saturday, and gave it 5 stars and a heart, and this is a masterpiece. This is incredible.
Oh, I need to revisit. I've only seen it once.
Yeah, I was even thinking, should we just cover it on the show? It's
Let's do
so
it.
wonderful. It is so sweet. It is so insightful. It is. I can suddenly see, you rarely watch these totemic movies and see, I see why this is so revered. And she's not the lead in it. Jennifer Jason Leigh is the lead.
That's so funny.
It has to be because it was directed by a woman, by Amy Heckerling, who's a great director, that the sex in the movie is so much more sophisticated and knowing than what you're used to seeing in movies.
It's the name of the movie, and it's this pool shot that stay in my head. And so I lump it in. That's so interesting. I'm sure I would love it.
And the pool shot is you have your cake and eat it too, because she is very sexy, but it's in a fantasy and you're flipping back to real life where Judge Reinhold is jacking off. So you're
Judge Reinhold. That's who fucking looks like, what's his nose?
Like Jason Segel?
Yes.
All right.
Oh, okay. I knew there was someone in that movie.
Phoebe Cates was born in 1963. She would have been 27 or 28 when she filmed Drop Dead Fred. Now, this is her background. And this is what I found kind of interesting.
All right.
Her father, Joseph Cates, a major TV and Broadway producer. He produced The Honeymooners. He was the creator of the game show The $64,000 Question. He supposedly produced more than 1,000 television specials. And her uncle was also a major television and Broadway producer. He produced the Academy Awards 14 times. So she grew up in New York City, basically groomed for show business. She trained at Juilliard. She got a scholarship at the School of American Ballet before her career ended at age 14 due to a knee injury. She began modeling at age 10, appearing in publications like 17 magazine. Google 17 magazine, Phoebe Cates. She appears on so many of the covers. She then decides acting or modeling is not what she's interested in. She wants to act. Now things get a little fucked up. She does a screen test for a movie called Paradise that is very much, everybody understands, it's a ripoff of The Blue Lagoon. Blue Lagoon was this movie where these two sexy late teens get naked and
They are brother and sister.
Oh, are they? I've never seen it.
It's about what would you do if you're going through puberty and the only person on an island is your brother.
Okay.
Is my memory of it.
So they're doing, but the whole point is people get to see it and ooh, I'm titillated because I see these naked people. So Paradise is getting cast, and she goes to an open casting call for this movie that will film in Israel, and the role calls for a lot of nudity. She is 17 years old. She sold People magazine in 1982. Quote, I asked my father, should I do this? He said, how can you even question a lead in a feature film? I said, yeah, but what about the nudity? And he said, what are you going to do? Model for the rest of your life? What are you so hung up on nudity for? That's all I needed. I took the part. End quote. Again, she was 17 years old.
How is that legal?
I guess in Israel it's legal. And certainly there's states in the US where it's legal. She said of the part, quote, in this business, if a girl wants a career, she has to be willing to strip. If you've got a good bod, then why not show it? End quote. Nevertheless, this production was very unprofessional. The script called for, she said, way too much nudity. The story didn't demand that there be that much nudity. And in fact, the filmmakers then added more nudity with body doubles, and she was very upset about that. She started feuding with the production. She refused to do any publicity. And then the production got sued by the studio behind Blue Lagoon for saying it was a ripoff. And Cates went on the record and said it was a ripoff.
Shit, yeah.
Phoebe Cates' character in Drop Dead Fred, I feel like she at least seems to be drawing on this I was intended, groomed to be an on-camera performer, no?
What?
That the character she plays in Drop Dead Fred, a person who's like molded by these other forces, her mom, her very controlling mom, it kind of reads as a sort of stage mom almost. And
Okay.
I just have to think she had to be drawing on her own experiences.
Oh yeah, this is the best acting performance I've seen her give, but I've only seen like 4 things with her in it. But if that makes sense, if she was just the material spoke to her, an overbearing mom, it sounds like her dad was also
that that basically her dad made her get naked on screen when she wasn't even an adult yet. And so the movie, Drop Dead Fred, I just thought that was such an interesting through line, and maybe why she's so good in the movie is
because she's a good actress, Matt. What the fuck? Jeez, this guy.
Huh? No, you draw on stuff that she understands the feeling of not being in control of your life, even when you're now an adult. Everybody still sees you as a girl.
As the product they made. Look at this nice product we made. This product is lasting faulty.
Interesting that she then followed that up with Fast Times, where she has the famous nude scene. But she had only good things to say about that movie. Also, she was an adult when she made it. I mean, whether there's any difference between a 17-year-old and an 18-year-old, I don't know, but you gotta
put the line somewhere, people.
Right. And again, that movie was directed by a woman, so it probably did make a difference.
100%, especially just like the politics on set and the using it where the 80s called for it.
She became lifelong great friends with her on-screen best friend from that movie, Jennifer Jason Leigh.
Goosebumps.
After that, she's in Gremlins. She has the famous Christmas monologue, my dad dressed as Santa and rotted as a corpse in the chimney, and returned for Gremlins 2. But she would say at the time in the press, there's no good parts in movies for women. Correct. She got a lot better roles on stage. Drop Dead and Fred in 1991 was her last leading role. She was set to play Steve Martin's daughter in Father of the Bride, but she dropped out because she got pregnant. And married to Kevin Kline in 1989.
Where did she meet him?
They're still married.
I guess not on the set, just in town.
You meet people.
I mean, I got it. I just like when there's a work connection.
And then she retired from acting in 1994. She returned one more time in 2001 in the movie The Anniversary Party, which was directed by her good friend Jennifer Jason Leigh. It was a favorite of her. 2005, she opens a high-end fashion boutique in Manhattan, which she still runs to this day. She says customers will say to her, "You look like Phoebe Cates." And she says, "I get that a lot."
Aww.
The movie didn't do well at the box office, although not as bad as I thought it did. It doubled its budget in America. It made $24 million worldwide. And then, like every movie Laci loves, it became a cult classic on home video. In the 2010s, there was a remake in development with Russell Brand. Get Brand in your movie. Get him to the movie theater, everyone said, on your screens. But his movie Arthur didn't do well, and so they said, no, that's okay.
Okay, so then my friend had heard her facts a little mixed up, because I thought that didn't make sense timeline-wise for him to have been considered further. He would have been like 14.
Very, very young. So that's the legacy of Drop Dead Fred. As I said, there are not that many resources about that movie. Somebody go write the oral history of Drop Dead Fred.
Give us oral.
Give us oral, please. There's a lot of love for this movie, and I really, really like this movie. I think it's a great movie, and I think it's a very good movie. It's flawed, and we will talk about it now again. If you're listening on the podcast, just keep listening. If you're watching on YouTube,
if you're a real fan of Drop Dead Fred, you're going to want the audio, people.